This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at CES 2020. To my immediate right is Ryan McCall. He's Director of Sales and Marketing for UL. Always a pleasure, Ryan. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Neil. Appreciate you having me.
So for those unfamiliar, the few that aren't familiar, tell us what UL does.
So UL is a global safety and science company. They focus on making the world a safer place. And my particular business line focuses on benchmarking software. Software designed to test the performance of varying devices from your laptop to your PC, your gaming rig, and your VR headset.
All right, good stuff. So it's very important that the gamers are safe, yes?
Absolutely, and no, it is. It's making sure the gamers, they know what they're getting. They know that their graphics GPU is going to do exactly what they want it to do. Know that they're going to be able to get the highest frame rates in whatever game they want at whatever settings they want. And also making sure that your headset's not going to overheat. Your keyboard's going to be compatible, from Bluetooth perspective and things like that.
Good stuff. Now, when we first knew each other, you were with a company called FutureMark, and I think that got acquired by UL, so the FutureMark brand continues. And just as a reminder, under FutureMark, which are your key product lines?
Yeah, so actually FutureMark no longer technically exists as a name. We are UL, but our brands do. So 3D Mark is our flagship product, focusing on consumers and gaming. We have our PC Mark brand, focusing on also consumers, but also enterprise, home and office usage. And then VR Mark, which is our virtual reality and augmented reality benchmarks.
All right, good stuff. Now, I understand you're doing something completely new this year. In addition to gaming, that there's other types of benchmarking being looked in the PC space. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, so that's our content creator benchmarks. So no official name right now, but it's going to focus on exactly that, content creators in different personas. So looking at photography, pro audio, video editing, rendering, 3D graphics design, and each one of those user personas is going to have its own set of tests and workloads to help you determine exactly how capable your device is to do those exact tasks.
Now, for gaming, I think it's fairly easy to understand. You need a certain amount of frames per second, at a certain refresh rate so that your game performs at a level that you enjoy it. Content creators, it sounds like, what does a content creator mean these days? I imagine that must be a big challenge to determine that in itself between rating. How do you think that the benchmarking might be a little bit different when it comes to content creators?
Yeah, so there's very specific software utilized by any individual content creator, and our means are to utilize those real world softwares. And from there, it's actually very similar. Everything is about speed. How fast something can be done, and whether that's measured in a frame rate in a video game, or measured in milliseconds or seconds in how long it takes you to do post processing, or how long it takes you Photoshop to render that blurring technique. So it's in the end, it's all about speed.
Okay, good stuff. So when are we going to start to see releases when it comes to the content creation market?
I think by the end of the first half, you're going to start to see our first releases, our first personas, and then you'll see our next coming personas in the second half of the year.
Okay, good stuff. One more question for you. Obviously there's continual advances in both in the CPU world and in the graphics world. Would you say 2019 moving into 2020, has it been an unusually good year when it comes to horsepower and computing?
Oh, it's been a fantastic year. The industry has gotten so much more competitive across the board, both on the CPU side, the compute side, and also the graphics side. And now, who knows what it's going to look like with Intel jumping into the discrete graphics game here in the near future. And then, your ARM-based processors are getting more and more powerful every day. AMD is back in the CPU game for real now. So it's just a really exciting time to be part of the industry.
Do you think ray tracing is going to be more and more dominant as time passes?
Oh, absolutely. When ray tracing first became mainstream via DirectX RT and NVIDIA ray tracing, you had one main vendor to support it. And even the work we did looked amazing. But you still can only go so far when you only have one vendor supporting it. I think over the next 12 months to 24, you're going to start seeing it, several other GPU manufacturers, maybe possibly even on the mobile side, start to support ray tracing.
All right, good stuff. Well, always a pleasure, Ryan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it.
This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at CES 2020. We, of course, will be back with more. Thank you for watching.